Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Beyond Blood Sugar, the place where we get real about what's actually driving metabolic dysfunction. So, today I want to talk about something that is often misunderstood, especially if you're dealing with insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, or just that constant feeling of being off. The feeling you're dragging through the day, no matter how much you sleep, you're doing all the things, you're eating low carb, moving your body, maybe tracking your macros, but something still feels off. As I always say, you're not lazy. You're not just getting old. Well, maybe you are just getting older. In fact, I am recording this on March 31st, and I turned 50 on April 3rd this week. Isn't that crazy? Um, yeah, so where was I? Not getting older, yeah. And, it's certainly not about needing another cup of coffee, for example. But hey, if you want to have one, go have one. Here's the truth. Maybe you're not tired. Maybe you are, but maybe you're not. Perhaps you're what I call under recovered. And there's a big difference because a lot of the people I work with, they don't just need more sleep. Okay. That's something we work on starting from day one. What they need is cellular repair. They need better hormonal balance. They need systems that restore instead of constantly deplete. And if your body is constantly under stress, whether it's physical, emotional, or metabolic, it's going to hold on to fat. It's going to mess with your blood sugar, and it's going to leave you feeling just totally wrecked. That's the best way that I can describe it. So today we're going to be unpacking what recovery dysfunction actually is and how it shows up in insulin resistant bodies and how you can support that healing process from the inside out. And yes, we're going to talk about some tools that go beyond food and sleep, including something that I've started using myself, which are plant-based peptides, not synthetic ones, but plant-based peptides designed to support that recovery at the cellular level. So we'll get into that a bit later. So let's go back to something I said earlier, okay? You can do all the right things, but if your body isn't recovering, it's like filling a bucket with holes at the bottom. I love that analogy. I say it in almost every single episode because it's a great visual. Everything you pour in just leaks out. Okay. And here's the part that no one really explains when I talk about, or when we talk about something like recovery dysfunction, and that is recovering from what? Okay. When you're dealing with insulin resistance, recovery isn't just about bouncing back from a tough workout. Okay. It's about constantly trying to repair from poor sleep, blood sugar swings, chronic stress, inflammation, even undernourishment. Yes, even if you're technically eating enough. Okay. It's about recovering from years of metabolic overload, from hormonal shifts that are wacky sometimes, from simply existing in a system that keeps your body in a state of constant alert. And this is where things start to unravel. Because when your body can't recover, it's not about just being tired. It's about what your metabolism can and can't do in that under recovered state. When recovery is broken, cortisol runs high, inflammation creeps in, and your nervous system stays in this survival mode. It's stuck in survival mode. And when you're living in survival mode, your body is not prioritizing metabolic flexibility or insulin sensitivity, all the things that we want. It's simply trying to protect you, which means fat storage goes up, blood sugar regulation can get worse, and cravings start to feel like they're just running the show. Sound familiar? That wired but tired feeling, the afternoon crash, the belly fat that won't go away even though you're eating clean and walking every day. It's not lack of willpower. It might be recovery dysfunction. You might notice your energy is unpredictable. Your muscles don't rebuild efficiently. You're slower to bounce back from stress. And instead of seeing results from your habits that you're trying to change, you just feel like you're spinning your wheels. So then what happens? You start blaming yourself. I must not be trying hard enough. I must need to cut out more carbs. I must need to fast longer. But what you might actually need is recovery. Because again, when your body's inflamed, when it's overwhelmed and still trying to catch up from yesterday, it doesn't matter how many good things you do today. I mean, it does, but you know what I mean. And it just can't respond to everything. And this is what I mean by like a recovery loop. You're pouring in effort, but your body can't absorb the benefit. This is the trap that so many people fall into, especially those already doing all the right things, eating intentionally, managing stress, walking after meals. Without addressing the recovery piece, the recovery dysfunction specifically, it just feels like everything's not working. And here's where things get really interesting because this directly impacts insulin. High insulin keeps your body in that stressed, inflamed, locked down state. But here's the catch: the longer you stay under recovered, the more insulin resistant you might become. It's a vicious cycle, as with all these things, right? And most people don't realize they're stuck in it until they feel completely burned out. This is exactly why I started looking into peptides. Okay, I'm sure you've heard them. It's all the buzz right now, right? But for me, specifically, what I've been looking into is plant-based peptides, not the synthetic kind. Okay, the plant-based ones that support recovery at the cellular level. Again, not synthetic, not hyped up like GLP-1s, just real food first bioactive compounds designed to support your body's natural recovery. The one my husband and I use a couple, but one in particular focuses on foundational areas like energy metabolism, weight loss, cravings, cellular resilience, and helping our system shift out of that chronic survival mode. Now, I'm not saying it's a magic pill. You know that I would never suggest that. But I am saying that when you're already doing all the foundational work, sometimes these peptides can be that missing piece that helps your body finally respond and recover. Because sometimes we just need a little bit of help. Because if your cells are exhausted and inflamed and overwhelmed, they may not be great at regulating insulin or building muscle or burning fat or even handling stress. And that's where sometimes these tools come in to help your body use the good inputs that you're already giving it. So if you've ever felt like, again, I'm doing all the right stuff and I'm still stuck, maybe the answer isn't always doing more. Maybe it's helping your body to actually recover so that it can finally benefit from what you are doing. And that is the ultimate goal, right? And that is a totally different conversation, one that, most people never get to have. So if that's you, if you've been clean eating, moving more, managing stress, maybe cutting carbs, eating keto, and you're still exhausted and craving sugar and stuck at the same weight, perhaps that's why. It's not that you're broken. It's definitely not that you lack willpower. It's perhaps because your body recovery systems are still offline, for lack of a better word. And when recovery is blocked, metabolism may get blocked, progression might stall, cravings kick up, and then you feel like you're spinning your wheels because on some level you are, right? So that's why I wanted to have this conversation today, not to add another thing to your to-do list, but to offer to look at something through a different lens, one that looks at what might be missing underneath the surface, one that opens up the door to sustainable progress if it's something that's been lacking in your life and in your wellness journey. So, if this episode sparks something for you, if you feel like maybe this is a piece you've been missing, I'd encourage you to explore what that recovery support might look like for you. Whether it's dialing in your sleep more, setting boundaries with stress, adding more intentional uh, rest throughout the day, or even bringing in something like these plant-derived peptides to help support your cells at the fundamental level, foundational level. And for those of you that are curious, the one that I use and recommend is called Lean, and I'll drop a link for you to check out in the show notes if you want. It's a blend of plant peptides that supports metabolic health, cravings, fat metabolism in a totally non-stimulant, food-based kind of way. Now, do you need peptides? No, I'm not going to sit here and say you do. But can they be a natural tool that might help some people? Absolutely. People don't bat an eye at GLP-1 anymore, which is a synthetic peptide, which costs a ton. So why not be open to something that is much cheaper, more accessible, and just might assist in some of the body's natural processes? So, anyway, as always, if this episode was helpful for you, please share it with someone that you care about. We're all walking this road together, and you never know who might need to hear something that might finally make something click. And that is it for today. Take care of yourself, support your recovery, and I'll see you next time.